Welcome to R&B Reviews. My name is Ridwan. This is Brender, and you're watching another review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay, we're just gonna jump straight into it. So first thing first, the fight over the shield. So Sam and Bucky they end up talking to John Walker after he killed one of the Flag Smashers live, and John Walker is kind of like twitching up a little bit here. He doesn't want to give up the shield. They're trying to talk him out of it, and then a fight breaks out. How'd you like the fight?
To be honest, I felt like the fight between like all three of those was like goated. Like I felt like
Goaded?
yeah, like I felt like that was one of the best fights out of the season. Goated in terms of the season.
The season, okay.
The season. I shouldn't say goated, but like goated in
Good
terms.
clarification there.
Yeah, goated in terms of the season because with the other fights of the season, like this one felt more natural and it just felt like when they were getting into it, it was nice to see Bucky and Falcon working together in like a fight. They meshed very well, like in terms of like the fight scene and seeing John Walker like his steps into like being aggressive towards them felt more natural, and I could see why he was upset. Actually, one of the things I wonder if they didn't ask for the shield, if John Walker would have even like fought with them, like because then they did at one point they're like, oh yeah, just give us the shield, right? So I felt like when they asked for the shield, it
He
kind
was
of
thinking about it.
yeah,
And
he was
when they
just like,
said to
oh,
us,
this is why you like this is really why you
yeah,
came.
I think they would have eventually fought regardless because if he was to give up the shield, it would be to the U.S. government, not to them, and they don't want that. They want to keep the shield.
That makes sense.
It was cool to see when John Walker's like, "Oh, this isn't what you guys want. Like, this isn't the smoke you guys want."
Yeah.
And Bucky said, "No, it is. This is exactly what we want." And then they go into it. I was like, that was pretty cool. The only weird part was when Bucky's about to like slam or throw John Walker, and Sam comes out of nowhere with the shield and drops kicks him, and then they all collide. That was kind of lame, but that was whatever. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Was that the ending part when they all like fall on the ground?
Yeah, when they all fall on the ground, they're all facing different directions. Yeah, a little triangle. That was kind of weird. After that little fight, Bucky's the first one to stand up.
And then grab the shield.
He grabs the shield and he looks at it in the sunlight. And to me, it was like what could be, like him thinking what could have been. But he tosses it to Sam, saying like pretty much, and he stares at Sam, pretty much signifying like he chose you. Don't let this like opportunity or don't let what he did be thrown away or anything like that.
I feel like when he ended up throwing the shield to Sam and he was walking away, I was wondering where he was going because Sam was still on the ground at the time. So I was just like, what if the other guy gets up before Sam and then grabs the shield? So I was thinking about that. I was like, where was he going at the time? But no, like, with that scene, I actually like that fight scene, and it kind of like, was a good start to the episode. Like, it kind of like the other episodes, like I was like iffy about, but this was a good start to the episode. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be like a good episode.
Yeah. Following that, John Walker basically he's called by the senators and he is discharged, not honorably whatsoever. He doesn't keep his rank after retirement. They don't give him benefits, anything like that, and pretty much they want to give him an opportunity to speak, and he was saying, "You guys built me, you guys made me, and you guys don't understand what happened." They just wouldn't listen to him.
Like, how do I feel about like that whole situation? I honestly like him going in there and talking to him. This is the first time I felt like something for like John Walker. I was like, oh, okay, like all the other scenes before that, like it was hard to even feel like any sort of sympathy towards him. Yeah. But like having him go in there after just losing his friend, and then having the people who like you said, like built him up, like the government like kind of turned him into this soldier, and then now they're like, oh well, you kind of messed up, so now we're gonna like punish you for like this. Like it's almost like
extremely punished.
Yeah, like it's super extreme. They took away all of his benefits, so I feel like it kind of like went to show that like the government wasn't like ish in this sense. Like the government was, it kind of shown the government in a bad light, and you felt sorry for him because you're just like, dang, like
you could predict
he
it though
lost everything.
because he ended up killing the guy, one of the Flag Smashers, in public and recorded for live TV and with no context. So you already know how things get taken out of context nowadays. So
I always forget about the context because like in my mind, like he killed like the terrorists,
but nobody else knows in the universe. Nobody else knows, and pretty much after that scene, like like I understand that how you felt, like you sympathetic to him. I did too, because it's like everything that he's accomplished prior is just erased. Like they don't care about it. he doesn't get a rank, and like I'm not a military person, and I don't know these ranks, but I'm assuming the benefits, they're not as great as they are, but he loses them, and he doesn't keep any rank when he retires. And keep in mind, this guy got 3 gold medals for serving in the military, and these were like honorable awards where nobody in history have ever gotten them. So he loses all that. So pretty much that one mistake that he did, and he thinks there's valid reason. There could be valid reason, but nobody else can see it. All wiped away, and like you can see that, and you feel bad for him in a sense.
And they didn't even give him the opportunity to speak about the situation. They just said, "Nah, we don't want to hear what you have to say."
And then he started losing because he was getting mad, and then you can hear like when he smashes down, and he says, I understand, I understand." He smashes the desk, and you can hear it break a little bit. That was cool because you got to remember he took
a super
serum,
soldier,
yeah.
and he just walked away out of the room. Because
Yeah.
there's nothing. He was hoping for the opportunity to be able to speak for himself, and then like that opportunity just never arose within them.
Exactly.
So I kind of felt like sympathetic towards him, in that like from that point on forward, like that feeling that I wanted to feel about him from like the other episodes that I feel like they're trying to get that was the episode that made me finally feel like those emotions towards him.
You know what was weird? The weird part was that lady that walks with the heels when John Walker's outside the hearing, and she walks to him and she says, "Oh, my heels aren't good for walking." She starts talking.
I didn't understand. Well, like I kind of understand it was a joke. Like these heels weren't made for walk. Apparently, there's been
She's trying to say that she's rich or something.
Is it?
I guess.
No, because I think there's been a run along in the show about like
heels,
about like shoes, because Sarah had certain type of shoes, like not wearing heels, and then you had Sam with heels. Like I think there's a run on joke in Marvel about like about running with heels and like running along the grates. So I feel like there's been a run on joke. So I knew that was a run on joke, but I felt like that joke was dumb.
It's super dumb and super hidden. Like it's over my head for sure.
If you look on Reddit, they talk about how like there's a scene where there's like metal grates, and then like one of the girls was running. I think it was Black Widow was running on like the metal grates with heels on. But like for girls, that's like impossible.
Yeah,
so, like,
but not for her. She's
so
Black
like
Widow.
yeah, so but then girls were making a joke about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she said like these heels were she was alluding to that joke, but I felt like the joke overall was like random. Like who would say that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But she ends up like saying, "My name's Val. Don't call me Val." Just saying something like her whole character. I honestly didn't like it at all. Didn't find her funny or charismatic. Nothing. And then you end up seeing like you assume she's working for the power broker. Well, I assume she was working for the power broker, and they're like, just pick up the phone call when we call, and they're really interested in John Walker. So I'm assuming she works for the power broker, and power broker's trying to get something from John Walker. They already have information that he doesn't have the shield. He already took the serum, and they're catching him when he's at his low point. So I think there's gonna be something along those lines. We know the power broker really wants the serum, so could play out that way. Did you like her character? I hated her.
I liked her because she's the girl from Seinfeld. Like her being the girl from Seinfeld, I thought it was like pretty cool, to be honest. Because I was watching, I was like, yo, is that the girl from Seinfeld? But I remember her being older, but she looked so young in that scene. So I was like, is that the girl from Seinfeld? But no, I really liked that. I thought it was cool. Her as a character, I liked her as a character. So I hope we see more of her. I feel like now, like the seasons, like now all the characters are becoming like likable, like regardless of like who they are, and being able to see them.
Okay, though, moving on from that is the Zemo and Memorial site right after. So Zemo is at Sokovia, and he's at the Memorial site.
Which the other guys have never visited before.
Yeah, and then Bucky shows up, and Bucky pulls out a gun. What did you think was going to happen?
At first, when I seen like Bucky showing up, I kind of knew. I thought that he was going to go with Zemo, and then they were going to like try and stop like Carly in a sense, right? Because Zemo still kind of hates super soldiers. Bucky still needs to like find Carly and whatnot.
Yeah.
So then when he had a gun, I was like, oh, okay, the gun is just for protection. And keep in mind, Zemo's like, I've decided that I'm not gonna kill you, right? So when Zemo said I decided I'm not gonna kill you, I was like, I thought there was something more to where they work together. But then Bucky points the gun at Zemo, and then Zemo's like, you know what? I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to like die or whatnot. And then Bucky like just pulls the trigger and throws away the bullet. So
and he smirks a little bit.
Yeah, he does smirk a little bit. So watching that, I was like, I was like, oh, what happens next? Because that kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
And
So
I
he
guess
got you.
yeah, he did get me in terms of like I didn't know what was gonna happen, but like after that you have the Dilaje Mahor
The Dora
Dora
Milaje.
Milaje come in, and then I was like, oh okay, like they're gonna escape with him. Like, what did you feel like when you seen that scene and then you see like Bucky go up, he drops the bullets, and then like the Dora Milaje come in? Like, did you feel like Zemo's story came to an end? Did you feel like
I'm not sure if it came to an end, but I did. Part of me did think he was gonna die, like just a small 10% chance that he was gonna get killed. Overall, I thought he was gonna survive regardless. Like you can't like Buggy's a hero. He's not gonna just off somebody
yeah
unless he's being controlled by Hydra. So I didn't think so. But when he pulled the gun and he's about to do it, a small part of me is like, wait, maybe it could happen. It could just shock the world, and we would lose a sick character, but it would be like a big moment.
yeah
So I thought it could happen. But they didn't do that. Dora Milaje come. They're gonna send him to the raft, which we think is like similar to a water prison where Sam and those
Captain
guys.
America, where they were beforehand, right?
Yeah, Captain.
Was Captain America ever captured?
Pardon me?
Was Captain America ever captured?
During that time, no.
Okay, it was just Sam. I think it was Winter Soldier.
Sam, Ant-Man, anybody that was helping him in Civil War. Pretty much. I think it was a Civil War movie. Yeah. So it was cool to see that. And then Bucky says, "Let me get a favor," and we'll revisit that as well. After that scene, Sam goes to Isaiah Bradley, so one of the first super soldiers. So he goes to his house. He went to, what was it called? Baltimore, exactly. So he goes to Baltimore, and the kids are shooting hoop late at night, and the grandson says, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm here to see your grandfather." He's like, all right. He's out back, but I'm gonna be there soon. That was sick.
I like that scene
because that's how people talk. Like
it felt realistic.
Like yeah, if you're from like the hood or you've been around the hood, that's how they talk. It's realistic because they aren't gonna just like
trust any like random person.
Yeah, and so that's what he's saying. Like I'll be there too, so don't think of doing anything crazy. But that scene was like really touching because they talk about a lot of things, a lot of racist stuff, racism and history. His history was terrible. Like we said last episode, he was in prison for 30 years, experimented on. His he was going over stories like his wife would send him letters and they wouldn't send it to him, things like that. It was a very like emotional.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like when like because like 30 years like and then like he can't like contact his wife. I could only imagine like what it's like this guy would be in prison, get tested, go back to like his prison room. I had no contact with the outside world. Like I felt like that whole situation was just like crazy.
And he's a super soldier, so they like strapped him up.
Yeah, they'd have to keep him like.
Which is super sad because like he's just like a Captain America, just black. That's the only difference you can see. So with his story, his platoon was also experimented on, but some of them had side effects. They died off, and then some of them they were captured by the what's it called, opposing army.
Yeah.
So they were war captures.
Prisoners of war.
And that happened in Captain America: The First Avenger, where he was supposed to be a media guy, like Steve Rogers was supposed to be a media guy and just give hope to the American soldiers, but he knew he was a super soldier and he wanted to fight regardless. So he ended up taking on these battles and he rescued a bunch of these war prisoners and nobody was planning to rescue. He did it by himself and then brought them back, and he was revered as a hero, and everybody in the military, including the higher ranks, said, "Great job, good job. Here's your own platoon. You can do whatever you want."
Yeah.
And they were called like the Howling Commandos or something like that. And here's Isaiah Bradley doing the exact same thing. He brings them back, and I think they get arrested.
Yeah.
And
even though the only reason why they wanted to kill them was because like they didn't want the secret to get out. So after he brings them back, it should be like, oh, okay, whatever.
So
like,
Isaiah's
we're back to even.
He was saying like the platoon that his boys, his brothers, they were captured, and he heard rumblings of the U.S. Army gonna like bomb the spot so they don't leave any evidence.
Yeah,
like, that's wild.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
But no, like I feel like that scene was like powerful only because he kind of described. Honestly, he described how most people feel. Like like the government isn't for you, and you're stupid to think that like you're representing anything when you represent the government. Like
Yeah,
I felt like he wanted to show,
representing their interests.
yeah, you're representing their interests, and he thinks that like, hey, like America's for everyone, but he kind of like uh I guess prove from his point of view that like America isn't for everyone. So like
Mm-hmm.
by picking up the shield and being Captain America, you think you're representing everyone, but you're not. You're just like a facade.
Yeah,
So I felt like that was kind of powerful, and it kind of goes to like it alludes to even John Walker's situation. Even though John Walker, he was like bad in a sense. Technically, the only thing he did that people say was evil was when he killed the guy, but technically that guy was a terrorist, and in
and
the
they still
American
lost
point
it.
of view, that's not something like he didn't do anything wrong from like American soldier point of view. Like
Yeah,
he
like
got rid of a
soldiers do that stuff
terrorist.
all the time.
Yeah, so now he felt like he was betrayed by his own government. So I felt like there was kind of like this sense of like the government will betray you along the line. Now that I think about it, even Sharon is another person
Yeah, 100%.
who technically was betrayed by the government in the
I
sense
wouldn't say the government. Like the government was after the superheroes. I think it's just Cap. Like
the
I
Captain
honestly
America.
it falls under Cap. Like if you want all the glory, you take the blame on that one too.
That's true.
Like Sharon, how you do
But then
this?
they could have gave Sharon a reprieve too. Like they could have, like
They
she
could
was
have
one of the
pardoned her, but
people.
they
Yeah,
forgot about her. Like if you're a higher up, you're like, okay, Steve, you can get a thing, but like we're not thinking about Falcon too much. But all right, Falcon's right beside you. We'll give him a
yeah,
pardon too. Um, Sharon, who nobody knows, nobody talked about it, nobody
that's
mentioned her.
crazy.
Yeah. That scene was very powerful. Like Anthony Mackie and whoever plays Isaiah Bradley, I'm not sure the actor's name, but they did a really good job because
100%.
they seemed like true to character. They seemed like they were using personal situations or experiences to be emotional in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You could see in their eyes like it was really a tense situation, and it was like really good acting on both parts,
Yeah,
and it was emotional for the viewer as well because this stuff happened. Like he mentioned the red tails, the
yeah.
326, the Air Force, the Black Air Force. So these were guys that were told that they can't be a part of the White Army, and they had to go on their separate. They had different like a different base entirely for the Africans, and it was like terrible. Like the planes were broken, rusty, and they would have to do dogfights in the air. Like it was crazy. So everything they got hit was secondhand, but they were able to complete all their missions and really help a lot of the war efforts. I think it was World War II. Uh, they did so well that they would what's it called? They would escort bombers to like front lines and stuff. So they did great work. And then when they got back home, they were still called like the N word and stuff by the white soldiers during the same battle. And then they get back home, and then they got the KKK, and they're facing racism from these guys burning crosses on their porches. And while the white people come back and they're revered as heroes, even if they did less, which is wild. And then he refers to all that. He's like, these guys don't play fair. They don't respect you. So no respectable black guy would pick up that shield and represent that.
That was a crazy moment to me. I thought when he said that, like Sam wasn't gonna like be a Captain America. I was like, oh, he's probably gonna
That
do
that's
something else.
that was my thought too.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
oh,
whoa,
they're gonna give it to
Bucky.
Bucky. I was
Yeah,
like,
and he said the exact same. He said the right thing too. He said, "I can't be a Captain America, or they would never choose a black person as blonde eyes, or sorry, blonde hair, blue eyes. That's the
the
fit that
American
they want
person. Yeah,
exactly." But I could go on for hours on that. So let's move on. So Walker lies to Hoskins' family, like straight up lies to them. I don't know why he did, but he pretty much maybe to have them at peace, because
hmm
that is was something what he says, like I killed your killer, I killed your son's killer, so maybe you can find some peace in that,
I feel like
which
he
is
was embarrassed, like, cause like you end up killing someone. They seen the video of you killing, or they heard of the video of you killing someone, so they want to at least know, like, you're Hoskins' best friend, like, oh, like you must have killed the person that killed my son, and then so like he didn't have a choice. Like when he was in that situation, I kind of can't even blame him for lying because this guy's just like she looked at him, she's like, you killed that person was his killer, right? And then he like, what are you gonna say?
yeah. What are you gonna
No,
say?
like that I
No, I
killed the
let that
wrong
guy go.
guy. So like I felt like it was one of those things where like she I don't blame her, but like he couldn't like face the fact of telling her like, yeah, like your son died, and I didn't even get the killer. I got like some other person. And now I'm like I came back and like all this stuff. So
And hints to like him like he's going to kill these people.
yeah, or I guess wait, does he hint in that scene like he's gonna kill like he's gonna go after more of them?
No, it's like just what he's saying is like, oh, like I delivered justice, or I've killed your killer or your son's killer. So like,
Yeah,
he's like putting it out there like he's gonna end up doing it because he's like, I already said it to these people. I have to do it. I have
that's
to
true. Like
accomplish it.
now it's like one of those things like when you have a lie and you're like, well now I gotta stick to the lie.
Exactly. That was a cool situation, I guess.
Seeing them like you can kind of
seeing
it
them.
kind of portrayed like them and Hoskins' situation. I feel like I'd wanna. It showed how much Hoskins respected him, but I'd
Yeah,
want to hear
he
more
actually like loved
stories.
him
Yeah,
as a brother. Like he
like
was
so
super.
much. Like there's so much love there, but I wanted to see more of like
They didn't show that at all. They should have showed some flashbacks.
yeah of
Even like the
something.
Isaiah Bradley thing that you were mentioning, like a flashback you'd
Yeah,
like
that
to
would be
see.
perfect. Like something that shows you like of him like back in the day, so you can get an idea of like the
Exactly.
gravity of the situation. Something with Hoskins and John Walker,
For
so
the
we can see like
relationship,
the
like why does he
relationship
trust why does he trust
so
Walker so
much. Like
much?
what
Even
does he see that we don't see?
even like for example, like we're good friends. Like if I saw you making like crazy decisions, like morally
Wrong decision.
not wrong, but like on the gray area
Yeah.
decisions, like I would probably say something like, "Yo, like what are you doing?" Like, and that's like that we're good friends. So like, how good of friends are they, or like how much does he trust in his decisions? Because he seems like he's like, I don't even need to make a decision. I don't even need to talk about it. Like you're good.
Yeah.
I just gotta
I,
give you a pep talk.
he just talked. I guess they don't really go into that, and they talked about like. I guess this goes back to like the show in general. Like they
Hmm.
talked about Afghanistan. I think that's where they had
Yeah, that
a
was like
few
one of
tours,
their first
but they
tour.
didn't show it. Like if you showing it would mean so much more than just talking about it. But
Exactly.
I guess you only have so much screen time. But like in
Still.
the locker room when they were chilling, do a flashback. Like have them start the story and then do a flashback so we
Exactly.
can see
People
like
flashbacks are key, like in stuff like that, and they've already wasted a lot of screen time on other
other
things like
things.
we,
Yeah.
we didn't need to see. But yeah, so in this one, Sam and Bucky they end up like having a better friendship. Uh, Sam, after speaking with Isaiah, goes back to his house down in south with Sarah, and he's gonna try to fix up the boat. And then here comes Bucky out of nowhere, and then starts flirting with his sister a little bit, and he fixes up the boat together. Um,
I
what I know you
I
have thoughts on that.
I felt like the like flirting with the sister was kind of snake, but within the context of the show, I thought it was like kind of funny. Like
It was sort of funny, yeah.
it was like a funny type thing. So like
Hmm.
within the context of the show, I found it funny. I found it cool that Bucky finally like got to be a part of a family in a sense. I guess he did with Wakanda, so
Yeah,
he got to be a part of that family. And then like when he came here, he kind of got to be a part of like this new family with Sam.
Sam's family,
And
the
I wonder
neighborhood.
if Bucky felt like with Wakanda, that Sam was, or with Wakanda, he was an outsider because Wakanda was like for Wakandans, whereas like now he's with like Sam, and then like Sam introduced him into his family per se. So
Like personally, like
yeah, he's personally a part of that family instead of part of like a group of people.
maybe. I think like Wakanda, he really loved the experience because he obviously learned the language,
Hmm.
as we saw in episode 4. Um, he's also like really, um, he said he was at peace when he was there. He's like, I just had a little moment of peace
Yeah,
all to myself, and it was really enjoyable for him. So I don't know. I think he likes both,
I,
but I see the personal connection that you're building there.
I also think with like the shield part, like I guess that's like towards the end of like this thing, but like they kind of try and like show how like Sam is deserving of being like Captain America, and like he comes to like grips with it, and him having that like that
Talk.
shield training situation, I felt like was the most like mismatched situation, only because like I was watching it like fully thinking, I was like, yo, like how is this possible, like because the shield was bouncing off fast, and it's so real, like the animations are like super realistic,
Yeah.
so I'm like he's throwing the shield and just catching it like this, right?
Yeah, they're throwing like a frisbee. So my first question was like, well, what is this made out of? Because apparently it's not made of vibranium. So then
Is
I'm
it
like,
not made out of vibranium? I heard it
yeah.
was like
So
vibranium.
so like rumors, no, because that shield that Cap has at end game is destroyed by Thanos. He goes back in time, but the timeline stuff is so different. So like I don't know like what they refer to. The writers say one thing, the directors say one thing, but people were saying if he goes back in time, to the same timeline, which returns all the stones,
Yeah.
lives his life with Peggy. They don't have that shield anymore because Cap got frozen with that shield, and he comes back and uses that same shield. So what shield is he giving? So whatever. Say it's a vibrating shield, or it's a different metal. We'll find out later. How is he just throwing it and tossing it like a frisbee and catching it? Like
catching it.
I get Bucky because he's a
Super soldier.
And I didn't understand how John Walker was doing it prior when he didn't have the serum.
John Walker with the shield.
Yeah, I remember when they first introduced him as Cap. I also thought he was that was another thing. I'm like, oh, maybe he's already a super soldier because he's tossing it like a frisbee, 1 tree, 2 trees, 3 trees back, and then catching it.
I didn't even think about that. Not only is he
catching it, he's putting his arm through like the
thing. Like I'm assuming there's a strap that I gotta put like through. Like if it was one thing you have to catch, then it's so tough. But like it's possible. But like if it's like a leather strap that you have to like do this with, I'm like no.
No, there's no chance. Like
that's impossible.
Humanly impossible to do that unless you're a super soldier.
And then like when Sam does it, and then they mismatch it where Sam does it. Like he's throwing it off 2 trees, passing it to Bucky. Bucky's doing the same
Playing
thing.
Catch off trees.
And then the next like cut, like Sam has to train with it, like, and he's struggling to do the same thing.
Exactly.
So I felt like I don't know. I felt like that was like
It was weird. Yeah.
It was a weird scene. Like it threw me off, but maybe they wanted to like I don't know. I actually don't know. Like that scene.
But what about like when Bucky's telling Sam like how he feels like don't give this shield up. This is what it represents. This is something like that's the closest thing I have to a family. And if it's not here or you give it up, then I have to question you, Steve, and then myself, and that little chat, and then afterwards Sam giving him tough love like I know you're trying to make amends.
But you're going about it the wrong way.
But you're going about it the wrong way, and you should probably like cheer up or help some old people tell them like actual shit.
I felt like that was perfect because it was directing towards like the one scenario,
the one Asian guy,
and then like you can kind of see like what he's talking about because he'll like literally pull up to someone in the car and be like, "I'm sorry, like I did you wrong," and then walk away. So like I can understand like Sam like made so much sense in like that scene,
mm-hmm.
But I felt like when I was listening to that scene, the only thing I can think about is like, oh, like now he's about to go see like the Asian guy.
Yeah, is he gonna tell him like off your son, or is like? Cause Sam also said like you should be helping them. Like, but what does this Asian guy really need in terms of closure besides letting him
know what happened to his son?
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like that was the most important thing to him, but I feel like Bucky's gonna end up telling him like, I'm the one that killed your son,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know about like how do you take that? Like I hope the show just does it in a way where it doesn't seem fake, like. Yeah,
because realistic, like in TV shows, you always see like them saying I forgive you," and you do see stories of that in like real life, like in court cases, people forgive the killer or whatever.
Yeah.
But like realistically, really being realistic, like the Asian guy should just hate him, especially like
his son that
yeah.
Such a young age too. Like like I want to see like
him just say I hate you and him saying okay.
Something that makes sense. Like, but that would be the only thing that makes sense.
But we won't see that on TV for sure.
And he was so angry before. Like he was just an angry person in general. So
yeah,
I can't see him being like happy about that.
But they did build a friendship first, so he might either be like, oh, this guy is a good person because of the friendship, or he might say he lied to me for this much time. So it could be either, but I'm gonna go with the first one.
I will go with like I just know like. If that was you, I already know how you respond to that situation. If that was me, I know how I'm gonna be upset. Like
yeah,
that's information that I really couldn't handle. Like that's information like when they're saying like oh like it might not what you don't know can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those what you don't know can't hurt me types. Like don't tell me because there's no way I end that situation with like yeah this guy's my guy still like
yeah
even though you killed like someone in my family.
Yeah, that's for sure. Battle of New York though. So I label it as Battle of New York, but that's pretty much the Flag Smashers versus the GRC. The GRC is voting in New York about kicking 20 million people.
Yeah, 20 million
people out of the country back to their origin homelands. So the Flag Smashers are gonna like raid it. They hit it up. Do you care? Like, what is this story like? This is a part of the story, but does it matter? Like,
I feel like they should have had this scene at the beginning because now it made me understand like the gravity of the situation for the GRC.
Yeah.
I feel like showing the refugee camps without showing the actual like situation of why they're there, what's going on. Like the refugee camps made it seem like they were there all along. So like that's just the life that they lived.
Yeah.
But instead of showing that like, oh, okay, like the countries are sending them back to these situations, like that's just those are just like two different things. So I feel like I really like seeing that scene. Like I felt like it was important for them to finally explain like
What's
why
going
the
on?
GRC do what they do, who they're up against in terms of the government. Because they were talking about the government before, but it was just like everyone has a government and like there are people, like there was no faces to these people.
Yeah.
So I felt that was good. You ended up like you're not a big fan of like the GRC and Iron Smash, but
GRC
these
or the
scenes,
Flag Smashers.
these scenes did kind of like prove like your theory in terms of like the power broker and the ties to like the power broker, like how the power broker fits into this.
So George you mentioned this earlier. So Sharon, who we both think is working in some capacity with the power broker, or like is the power broker, whatever you want to say. She offers George from the first episode, played by George St. Pierre, that we'll give you some money, you do this job for us. So that's him. He's working with the Flag Smashers, but the power broker wants the serum.
Yeah.
And they took all the serum. So I think like George is just gonna snake the Flag Smashers in some capacity and foil their plans. We're definitely gonna see some other stuff happening, but like I just don't care about the Flag Smash. Like I just don't care. Like their cause is whatever. I've known about their cause for a little bit now, and then just their like the main girl, like she doesn't seem like cool, smart. Think I just don't get where she came from. Like how is she avoiding? How are these guys avoiding the government? Like they're refugees that came out of nowhere, stole serum from Mandapore, came back to this country. Now they have hideouts everywhere. I get they're building connections with other refugees to like hide, but like whatever. We'll just say for the story, it works. It's just terrible storyline. Like I don't care about this arc. I care more about like does Sam get the shield? Like they pay more attention to that. They've shown me more of that. What's John Walker saying? Like how crazy is this guy? Bucky. What's he doing? I even care more about like the Dora Milaje and like what they're gonna do with Zemo than I care about the Flag Smashers. I get the Flag Smashers are the point to bring everything together, where everybody's gonna come through, but it's just not interesting to me. Like I don't. That's like a fourth thought in my mind, not even a secondary thought.
I feel like I kind of like it. I want to see like where they go with it. Her plan is terrible in terms of like what her goals are with the plan, but she's a kid and she's a terrorist, so
yeah,
I can kind of see why her plans kind of failed in that section. We have what's the guy's name again? The French guy? George, and just a side note, he was part of the first episode. And like that was the first episode where Falcon and George had that like little fight.
In the air,
so like seeing him come back and like putting like a picture to him, it kind of comes full circle with the first episode, which I didn't think that was gonna happen. And we're gonna see the full circle with Bucky and the Asian guy come full circle. And then you with
Torres finally comes back.
Torres comes back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of full circles coming in this.
Which is cool, like having a full circle. But like we mentioned, it would be cooler if we saw more of like Torres.
Yeah, within the main story.
Yeah.
It feels like they're doing check boxes, like,
yeah,
hey, this wasn't for nothing.
And
like,
they might have watched our last episode and said, "Oh, we need to bring some characters back."
Facts. Because now everyone came back. Like literally, so many characters who were like missing before, like finally like came back within the scene.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Torres finally gets the. I don't think we discussed this. Torres finally gets the
wings.
Might get the wings and the box. What's in the box?
Yeah. So I'll just go off my thoughts. So Sam says like you can like keep the wings because they're broken, and he doesn't think too much on it, and it doesn't show that he thinks too much on it. So he doesn't care. But Torres, like in the first episode, bringing it back, he was trying to help. Sam fixed the little jet. What's that called? He had a name for it.
The thing on the back.
The little jet that he has, little robot toy that Falcon has. The name escapes me now.
I can't remember.
But yeah. So he says, "Oh, you can fix it like this." So we know he's like a little techie kid. In the comics, he becomes Falcon. Um, so he's gonna keep those wings, and he's probably gonna fix it up himself. But Bucky, when the Dora Milaje take Zemo, he asks for another favor. What was that favor? Shows up with a box. Sam doesn't check the box right away. Don't know why. Checks it later at the end of the episode. What do you think it could be?
I thought it was gonna be the wings fixed
The wings fixed?
at the time, but now that you like
The wings
explained
fixed
it,
with what? Like with a little bit of
nah, I
Wakandan
thought it was just
magic
gonna
on
be
there?
the wings fixed, and he's gonna be like, I don't want this. Like I'm Captain America now, and then after you're gonna give it to like Torres. Like that's what I thought was gonna happen, but it makes sense because like why would Bucky be talking to like Torres and stuff like that and like getting things fixed?
Yeah, so I thought it was like my first thoughts was what is this? Like how does this help in storyline or the character? So first things first, it could be something to help Sam hold the or maneuver with the shield, something along with the shield. It could be a whole new suit because he's not the Falcon anymore. So it could be a vibranium suit, the one similar to how Black
Vibranium
Panther.
suit would be sick.
Yeah, similar to how Black Panther had the shock absorbing one, and then he could release the power. He's going up against super soldiers, so if he's not a super soldier, he's gonna need something else besides that shield. Like if you're a super soldier and I have a shield, you can just take the shield. I lose the battle,
Yeah,
regardless of my fighting skills or whatever.
yeah, that's just true.
So there's gonna be something there, and it'll be cool to see like what it is. And I'm like, that I love the Wakandan stuff. I wonder if Shuri is gonna mention that later in the movies or something
Like I
like
made
that.
this for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. I like it. The mid-credit scene. So, we see John Walker. What do you think he's up to?
I think he's making obviously it's clear he's making his own like Captain America shield. He made it clear that he wants to be Captain America still. He
Yeah.
thinks he can after all that's happened for whatever reason and the show wants to say that he thinks that he can still be Captain America
Mm-hmm.
and more he seems more confident now that he can be Captain America than before his friend died. Like before he was kind of sketchy like oh I don't know if I could be
Yeah.
like did I make the right decisions after his friend died he's like no I'm Captain America. So it's kind of funny like that, but I think he's gonna be going on a mission for revenge, straight for Carly.
Straight.
He's gonna go straight to the GRC
back
place.
in blood, like Pusha.
Yeah, like it's gonna be crazy. Like I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna be excited to see that, and obviously we're gonna see like the fights going in, and I think he's gonna be ready to take someone's life.
Well, I think he can't let go of being Captain America, and he's more on it because he has nothing else. Like, what is he now? He's
That is
everything was
true.
stripped from him. So, but his shield, shit, looks like a small pizza. He put his badge, he put his like little badge on there or whatever it was. It looks silly, like, but you know he's going to go after Carly, and then Sam's gonna intervene in some capacity, and then that's gonna be the showdown between like we say the fake Captain America versus the real Captain America, I guess, Sam. Not sure if he's gonna be going by Captain America or how it's gonna go, but that was cool. Yeah. So leading on to that, does Sam become Captain America at this episode, or does he
100%.
become
Like
further?
next episode he's gonna be like the Captain America. A part of me thinks he's gonna be Captain America, but not under the government. He's gonna be like, I'm Captain America or like whatever. This is what the shield represents, but I don't work for the government.
Mhm.
I think he's gonna go back to that. Technically, he can't though because of the Sokovia Accords or whatever, where every superhero has to be under the government.
I
in a
think that
sense.
was taken away though.
Oh, did they undo that? Okay.
I think they did.
So yeah, I feel like he should be okay with like being Captain America in his own accord away from the government.
Yeah, because like he's a follower of Steve's. Steve chose him because he was a good guy. Steve wasn't like hanging with the Sokovia Accords or the government. He did things morally. So whatever was morally correct, that's what he would be going off of. Yeah, I don't know. I hope we see something where he's there. Besides that, like I understand Zemo's your favorite character. So, what happens with Zemo? Where, is he gone for good, or how does that work?
So with Zemo, I feel like it's a wrap for Zemo this season. Like I feel like he's gonna be gone, and then we're gonna see him in like another story, maybe Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we're gonna see when it comes to Zemo. I don't really see a situation where Zemo like comes back into the fold or he becomes a relevant character for this season, but maybe for another season. And I guess it depends on where like the franchise as a whole goes. Because Zemo's whole motivation is to fight super soldiers. So without that, I don't see Zemo really being like confident enough to like do anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was willing to die easily. Like he's willing to like check out easily. So like
Yeah,
the story's gonna have to do some
like he's gonna
finessing.
kill himself. He's
Yeah.
okay with
He's
jail.
gonna let Bucky kill him. Like
Yeah, I like Zemo too. He's growing on me since since
first-
episode 3. I want to say.
I think it was episode 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
the best episode of the season.
Okay, so what about Sharon? Like, what's she playing now? What's she?
I
doing?
think she's just playing both sides of whatever makes her the most money.
Richard.
I'm assuming GRC is paying her. So
Why
that's
would the GRC pay her?
because they needed someone that can fight Falcon.
Fight Falcon. She's been helping Falcon.
But then the GRC. Oh wait, sorry,
The Flag
not
Smashers.
the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers. I think the Flag
Oh.
Smashers are paying her because they need someone that can fight Falcon.
That could be a really good storyline, but why would Sam be asking Sharon about where the Flag Smashers are? That could be how she gets her location
Information?
and stuff. But why would she give Sam that information?
Because technically she wins with Sam disrupting the situation.
Mhm.
They need her more, and then they have someone, and then she gets a cut. It's just like selling art.
I guess so. I like how she's playing it, but I think she works for the power broker or in some capacity because she's too connected. She knows too much, and we know power broker is against the Flag Smashers. He wants the serum in any capacity. So again, back to that point of George, like they hired George, who's played by George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
They hired him to work with the Flag Smashers, and the Flag Smashers think they get a good partner and they can do this job, but they're just gonna get backstabbed. Carly's gonna do something crazy. Sam's gonna step in to protect her or try to talk her down. John Walker's gonna be like, "You can't talk her down. You gotta kill her," and then they're gonna fight it out. I can see Sam letting Carly go if he stops everything, if everything like her plan is foiled, and he's like, "Listen, like nobody's here. I'll say you died. Just leave and like live a good life. Just don't do anything stupid." I could see that, or I could see him sending her to jail, but that's the most. I can't see him killing her. I can't see anybody else killing her. She might die off by somebody else, or
But she's not even in the New York. She's in like
she's in New York. Carly?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, in terms of like, okay, my
Sharon.
bad. I was thinking Sharon. I don't know why like Sharon crossed my mind in terms of like a confrontation between them when he finds out.
No.
But no, Carly. I think Carly's gonna get packed by somebody.
Packed by somebody, or she'll kill herself in order to try to get a job done.
I think she'll sacrifice herself for somebody else.
That, or she packs herself, and then, or she just everybody else dies and she's getting let go for free. I don't see her like really being jailed, or killed by like Sam or somebody like that. We'll have to wait and see for that. Rate the episode, man. Like, what do you think?
I would say it's like a 7.5 because episode 3 was an 8. Episode 4 was like, I would say like a 6 point. I would say the episode 4 was a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like all right, like really in the middle, and then like the rest of the episodes were like 6s or less. So I would say like definitely like a 7.5 where it was good. It wasn't as good as episode 3, but I would say like it was good. Like I enjoyed watching the episode. Like there wasn't a minute where I was bored or like why am I like watching this? Like I could be doing anything else right now. So I think it like took me in. How about you? Like where would you? Like,
I'd give it like a 7.7, 7.8, something like that. We'd have to go back and check what we rate the other ones because we probably we have to stay consistent.
Yeah.
I liked episode 4. I know you didn't. This is a better episode in terms of like story growth. And like episode 5, I'm expecting like some really good shit to happen. Episode 5, now once we see an actual battle, every storyline connects. It's gonna be a major battle, and that's something that like I like way more because it means more than just regular battles here and there.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get why like people would say see the first 2 episodes they
And
see
be like,
the
oh,
action.
this is amazing.
They think
This
this is the best show they've ever watched in their life.
No.
Like I don't even know if they're watching at that point. But I think it's gonna be sick. The next episode is gonna be nice. This one was alright. Yeah, I'm excited for it. What about John Walker? What are you saying? Like, what he's gonna do?
John Walker, I feel like he's gonna be gunning for revenge, and I think he's gonna be like the crux of the episode is like do or die, and he'll do whatever it takes to kill Carly, and I think we'll see like a more villainous John Walker, but a still more sympathetic John Walker. Like his character will make more sense now that he's peaked to where he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like his character will make more sense.
More sense. Yeah, I think. Does he die next episode?
Nah.
No, you think
I think
he's
they'll
alive?
keep him around.
Because he has the serum. I think if he doesn't die next episode, I think Power Broker gets his hands on him.
If he doesn't die, you think Power...
Willingly or unwillingly. Either he's captured or he willingly...
But I feel like he'll willingly work for Power Broker.
He will, yeah, for sure.
Because like the girl said, like, yo, we'll call you and just answer. So
yeah,
like,
the
I feel like he'll carry more into like other things.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do that. Sucks for him, man. He lost it all. Yeah. Besides that, is there anything else that you think's gonna happen, like, beyond what we just already discussed?
I feel like one thing that they've missed or like haven't like gone through is they haven't been able to kind of. So they haven't been able to connect the TV shows that we've seen so far together at all. Like it just feels like they're in a completely different world. Not the movies, but like WandaVision or going to
Falcon.
like Black Widow or stuff like that. I guess they're in different timelines, but I was hoping to see kind of like Easter eggs that like kind of relate to each other.
There's nothing that I've noticed that's a link between the shows. I don't think we're going to get any because Loki's a time traveling one. We might see that connect with movies, maybe the show.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I think it takes place 6 months after WandaVision, I want to say. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's that. And they're on different, like, they're traveling to different countries. They're not really paying attention. And I don't know how much media outlets have seen
and like
WandaVision, like what they've exposed. I don't think they exposed anything, to be honest.
Cause wouldn't they be in the same timeline or slightly different?
They're the same timeline. It's just 6
or
months
timeline
apart.
in terms of 6 months apart.
Yeah.
But WandaVision stuff already happened.
WandaVision stuff already happened, but
Yeah.
was it televised? Was the media there? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It was all wrapped up by Sword and stuff. So it was like an internal thing in New Jersey, like a little town.
That makes sense.
So I don't think they're gonna show connections. It might have connections to the movies. I just hope we see like Torres and something else.
I think Torres will be like a sick character.
Do you know where he's gonna be?
I feel like he'll probably be in like another TV show. To be honest, I don't see him in like I feel like he'll either be in another TV show or they're gonna put him in like an arc where everyone's fighting and you'll see him in like the background and they'll be like, look, Torres was right here, like in this scene. Like I feel like it's gonna be one of those ones.
He's still working for the military, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Power Broker. Who could it be? Do you have any thoughts?
I don't think we've seen him yet. I think he's just like.
Do we see him, or are they just gonna leave us hanging next episode?
I think they're gonna leave us hanging.
That sucks, man.
I feel like we're gonna see like after an end credit of the Power Broker and like who he is, but I don't think we'll actually see him as a character.
Does that play like this end credit of Power Broker? Like, does that excite you? Like, it's not Thanos. Like, why do I care?
I think.
He might.
But he's not a big character, so like I feel like if they use him, they're gonna if he's not there at this point, they're gonna use him for something else.
I think they have to use him for Shang-Chi. What else can they use him for? Shang-Chi will tie in with Mandarin and stuff. Maybe the Power Broker works for Mandarin or deals with Mandarin. But regardless, like if you don't show it now, like where are you gonna show him it's significant?
True. Honestly, we'll just have that's something I feel like we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
But that should wrap up this week's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This week's episode was really good. There's only one more episode left till the season finale. Well, the next episode is the season finale, so it's going to be exciting to see. And then we'll definitely be posting more stuff with different shows. Not everything will be episode by episode review. There'll be like other types of content. And definitely comment, like, and subscribe. And Brenner, do you have anything else to?
Yeah, just if you have any suggestions or comments, just leave them on our YouTube page or our YouTube videos. We'll definitely check them out just because we are a new channel. Besides that, we're just signing off. Take care.
Easy.